Welcome aboard.
Hello. We're glad you're listening to the Meaningful Nonsense podcast. This is episode 19. 19 episodes in, and we're going to start it the same way we always do, and that's with no start. But really, wherever you are, whatever you're listening on, whatever you're doing in this day, on this fine Wednesday of the day of recording, I just would like to let you all know that if you are listening and you have listened to a few episodes, please go on iTunes, go on YouTube, go on wherever you're listening to this podcast. If you're able, leave a review, leave a rating. It can be bad. Trust me. I want the bad ones too.
You're going to embrace the bad ones, especially.
Yeah, because without the bad ones, like I've said, we don't know what we suck at.
Right.
Well, we do know that we suck, but that's a different story. Landon, how is your week going? It's hump day.
Hump day! Yeah, it is. It's fine. It's been a long week, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
It's been surprising. I'm glad that you know, because for me, it has really been a long week for just being 3 days so far.
Yeah. What's been going on? Many deadlines?
No, the opposite.
Nothing to do?
Just slow, yeah.
Ooh. You know, I would rather be slammed than not busy at all. It really does make for a longer week.
Yes.
It means you're sitting in your own anxiety, whatever it may be, sitting in your own boredom.
Yeah,
it really highlights how awful the day may be when it's slower.
It can really put an emphasis on the worst parts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know...
But how about yourself? Did you have something?
Yeah, I'm going to expunge a little bit of information. Starting Sunday night, my oldest child, which is only a year and a half, it's not very old, she came down with what could only be described as the stomach flu. It was a waterfall, I'll just tell you that.
Of?
North and south. She was very, very sick. That's the best way to describe it.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and being that little, you get a little bit more nervous than if you're an 8-year-old.
As the parent.
Yeah, as the parent. Push some fluids. But we took that same approach with our daughter. She ended up being okay, but we also have a 2-month-old.
Right.
And starting last night, which would have been Tuesday, we started noticing that he was not holding bottles down at all, and he was showing these same symptoms, which are north and south waterfalls.
Yeah.
So we went ahead and took him to the emergency room since his pediatrician's office wasn't open.
Oh.
We had read, we did what parents shouldn't do, and that's Google.
Yeah.
We decided that since it's been 8 hours since he was able to hold down a bottle, we took him to the emergency room, and they concluded that it was exactly what we thought, which is fine. That's what we went for.
Yes.
So they gave him a little bit of Pedialyte at the emergency room, which is fine. And now he's been able to keep food down, so win. But what makes that so horrific is you have to watch your child, and you cannot do a thing.
No.
They're going to be sick. They're their own human.
Not in this case.
Nope, not at all. So on top of work, raising children, and all the things that come with life, you get them sick. Horrible week. It's only Wednesday. But luckily,
right,
it's hump day and it's halfway over.
Yeah. That's always a good thing.
Well, and I have a funny thing to say. Another person that did not have a good week. I was reading this. This is our What's Happening in Today segment.
Is this a new segment?
I don't know. I don't know. But I read some stories that I thought maybe I'll read those off, see what you think.
Okay.
Some tourists in the African region, in whatever desert that may be, or I don't even know what jungle it would have been. We're out looking for leopards.
Okay.
Watching the wildlife.
Leopard spotting?
Leopard spotting. And they happened to be charged by a white rhinoceros.
Oh.
They were...
Did make contact?
No, I actually think that the car was able to get out. It lasted a whole minute and a half, which you can only imagine that lasted.
So they were in a car.
Uh-huh.
They were not just walking
No,
around.
they weren't just walking. Thank goodness.
They probably would have lost.
They
In
might
a
not
big
have
way.
stood a chance.
So it did.
Putting it nicely.
It mega rammed their vehicle.
Oh yeah, and they managed to get away. But to me, where I get confused is they were looking for leopards, which is also a dangerous animal.
It certainly, absolutely can be. Yes.
And they found a white rhinoceros.
Yeah. Which I did not. I'm not even sure if I knew that was a thing. Is it actually white in color?
I think. I mean, it's like off-white.
Okay.
Seems gray, but
More of a gray.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what makes them white, or what
Yeah.
other type of species of rhinoceros there are.
Right.
The reason I bring this up is because should we just stay out of their element?
I would
I'm the,
tend to say yes. But
there is a grace and beauty about
right.
the creatures on this earth,
Yeah.
and if you don't see them, if you don't go have that experience, maybe you're missing out on something.
Yeah. I assume they were on a safari of sorts.
Yeah. Safari. That's the word I was looking for. Why could I not come up with the African safari? My goodness.
Yeah. No, it's. I bet that's probably a fairly rare occurrence.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I don't think you just encounter rhinos out there like that, especially with, I'm sure they had a pretty experienced guide.
Right.
But speaking of animals,
Okay.
in a place that holds many, many animals, over 3 million animals and plants, the Amazon forest,
Ah.
I read, is burning at a faster rate, 84% faster rate, as opposed to last year. Is burning.
It's on fire?
jungle fires. Yeah. And, you know,
I thought it was a rainforest.
it is a rainforest, and what happens is they go through seasons. I mean, obviously you have the earth has seasons in general, but they have a dry season and a wet season.
Right.
So right now in the dry season, there's always natural fires that get started, just I don't know how. But of course with human intervention, there's more fires now.
Yeah.
And it's burning at an 84% faster rate than it did in the year 2018. So
Well,
it's a little bit scary considering that is the biggest jungle.
right.
So
yeah.
it's
biggest single.
yeah,
forest.
and that really helps with the carbon that
Yeah.
we're emitting into the earth. Yeah, obviously you don't have to get all political about it, but at what point do we not engage in deforestation at a level that we are now as humans?
There it is, folks.
We're getting deep up in here. I read that and got a little bit scared because, I mean, 1 million indigenous people live in the Amazon forest too.
Really?
Yeah, and the president of Brazil, I do not know how to pronounce his name, Jair, so I'm thinking Jair.
Yeah.
Jair Bolsonaro, president.
I guess whatever that is in Portuguese.
Yeah, he has made relaxed policies to allow more logging and more things that contribute to deforestation. So
Really?
a little bit scary. Also, getting more lighthearted. Spider-Man out of the MCU. What do you think about this?
Well, I had heard that he's probably going to be out due to business reasons.
Between Sony and Marvel.
Right.
I hate it. I thought the introduction of Spider-Man into Captain America Civil War and then getting his own movies in Homecoming and Far From Home, which I have still yet to see.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that I heard Sony intends to continue to make movies with the same cast. It's just not going to be in the MCU.
Which is utter shame. Because I feel like he could have been an anchor to the new MCU.
I think he needed to be.
Tony Stark.
If you look at the cast that's left.
No Captain America, no Tony Stark. Probably no Thor after his next movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless they pull a rabbit out of a hat and get Chris Hemsworth to sign a much larger deal.
it is. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame when the business gets in the way of the movies.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what we're all looking for. Those movies entertain us. They get our minds off of the mundane, the same things we do every day. It gives us a chance to just relax
Right.
and see somebody else's creative process in the way that movies are made. So,
Yeah.
it was nice to have that character in
Yeah.
the larger group.
Yeah, and Sony, they just will not let go.
They won't.
It's not going to happen.
And I do understand they're probably a little bit cocky
yeah.
because of Spider-Man being their number one asset. That's
Right,
Spider-Man Far From Home is the biggest movie Sony's ever made. Like, they made the most money of any other movie.
Yeah, probably.
And Skyfall, it beat Skyfall. So, you have to know that it's pretty big.
And they bought the rights to the character, I
Yeah,
think, in the
they did.
80s
Yeah.
for nothing.
Because Spider-Man didn't... It's easily one of the most recognizable superheroes,
Yep.
but it just never had the same pull that some of the other ones do.
Yeah.
And, I mentioned Skyfall. Speaking of Bond, James Bond. Craig's last film finally got a title. Did you hear what it is?
I did. I don't remember.
No Time to Die.
Yeah. That's a classic Bond-style title.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I've seen I've seen a film in its entirety of the entire Bond saga. Or whatever you call it at this point.
I haven't either. I have seen parts of many of them. But
Yeah, me too.
I haven't seen one in its entirety.
I've seen parts of Skyfall. I've seen even back to the old James, Sean Connery
Yep.
Bonds.
Yep. And from what I've seen, I actually enjoyed what I watched. It was. It is what it is. It's a James Bond movie. There's going to be a lot of action sequences.
Absolutely.
And some supervillain, and he's going to defeat the supervillain at the end.
Pretty much every time. I am pretty excited. I believe Rami Malek is going to be playing the villain.
Really?
Yep. So that'll be fun to see. We've already talked about Rami Malek quite a bit on this podcast.
Yeah, because he starred in Papillon.
Woo-wee! That's what started it all, folks. Well, let's get down to business. But first, a word from our sponsor. Just kidding. Just kidding. We don't have that yet. Just a little bit of humor for segue.
Yeah.
Yet. I said yet. So, I had a thought. And my thought was based on a comment we got from my mother. It was the only comment we got. A post on our Facebook page, which you can like. It's Meaningful Nonsense.
Yep.
I post there not regularly.
Yeah.
But she said something that would seem fun to listen to would be what we thought adulting would look like when we were younger versus what it is actually like. And that, I wrote pages of notes.
Whoa, very nice.
So, what I did is as a 13-year-old, just fresh into teenagehood, you finally feel like you've got a grasp, like you kind of control yourself.
Yeah.
You don't really in a lot of ways.
You're taking your first breaths of independence a little bit.
Yeah, that you start to get a little bit more freedoms. Maybe you don't have to go to bed as early.
Right.
You don't have to. You get a little bit more freedom of your choices on what you want to eat, what you want to wear, things like that. You start to actually come into your own, is what I feel like.
Yeah.
At least for me.
You're becoming your own human.
So, as a 13-year-old, what did you think being, we'll just go 24, 25, what did you think it would be like?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you, because I could tell you what I thought it was like.
Well,
or what I wanted it to be like.
Obviously, 24, 25 seemed very old and mature.
Yeah, ancient.
Very mature. Like, that's a full-grown adult.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, I would say maybe at age 15, 16, you don't change much mentally from that point on.
No, you really don't.
If any. You just gain more wisdom as you learn things.
Mm-hmm. And you start seeing it through a more mature perspective.
Right.
You don't see things as juvenile anymore.
Right.
You start seeing that your actions have consequences.
Yeah.
And that you are responsible for your own.
You make mistakes. You don't make those mistakes as much, if ever, again in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I thought it would be different than it is, I'll tell you that.
So, for me, it felt old. Obviously, it was like double our life at that point.
Right.
I imagine that I always saw our parents be younger parents.
Yeah.
They married, and they were the classic American family. You got married younger, you had your kids.
Yeah.
Then you go through life doing that
like
whole
you.
thing. Mm-hmm. Like I've done, which I don't know if that's what I thought at 13 years old. I thought I'd own a car, be some hot shot. Wouldn't want kids yet because I'd still want to do whatever I wanted, stay up late, travel.
Right.
I knew I'd have responsibilities, like I'd have to pay for my own Wi-Fi or whatever, pay for my own phone, and things like that. But it's not been like that. So for me, what it's actually been is, now that I'm adulting, I would say, still not at a high level, but more so than what I thought I would have been adulting. Because it isn't about what I drive like I thought it would be. I wanted a nice car.
Right.
It isn't about what I thought I'd be doing, because who really cares as long as you have money. But I did think I could eat whatever I wanted and never have any repercussions. I never thought I would gain a ton of weight. I thought I'd always go to parties, live a life of grandeur, kind of like what you see in The Great Gatsby.
Whoa, nice.
Like, that was adulting to me. You had the power to do whatever you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nobody told me about car insurance.
Right, and it's amazing. You get put into these positions, and you just have to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's your only option.
Yeah, at that point, you have to make the decisions.
Yeah, when you were younger, you just thought somehow adults just knew how to do all that.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
No, you have to figure it out.
Right. They had to figure it out, too.
Mm-hmm. They had to go through the nerves that you get of doing something for the first time.
Yeah.
Of how the frick... Okay, so I bought this car. What do I do now? I need car insurance.
Yeah.
Like, luckily for me, I'm still a part of my parents' policy, because when I got the car, I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have a lower rate than what I would have if I had it on my own.
I mean, it's the same. Like, there's just so many things that your parents did for you.
Yeah.
That now you got to do.
They negotiated my APR on my car. I had no idea what an annual percentage rate, whether a 7% or a 18%. I didn't know how much I was going to be paying on the back end. I just did it because I thought, oh, well, I guess I have to.
Yeah. Or like something as simple as scheduling a doctor's appointment. If you've never done it, how you got to do it.
Yeah, you're going to feel nervous as frick because...
What am I supposed to say? Yeah, I need to go to the doctor.
Do you have any appointments available? Well, obviously they do, but you're so awkward when you do it because it's your first time.
Right.
And never knew. They always said, yeah, when you're paying for it for your own self, it's different. It takes on a different feel, obviously. It's your money.
For example, you buy an item, you may either cherish it or just treat it with more respect than you would have had you not when you were 16.
Oh, yeah. I can't tell you how many iPod Touches I had given to me for Christmas. And I don't have any of those now.
Right.
Whether by malfunction or breaking or just totally forgot about them or sold them.
Right.
But if I had bought those, you better believe I would have only been buying one, and I would not have bought a new one every year. It's because
Yeah. And I think you just realize how you gotta earn the money to buy that stuff.
yeah, and that's one of the biggest shifts, is once you go from, and even when you think you've become an adult, you still rely on your parents for something.
Oh yeah.
And only when you stop relying on everything that they used to help you with and you have to do it all yourself do you realize, wow, I think I'm adulting now.
Yeah.
Like, cause
That's a pretty good definition, I think.
and I've even got the parental part of it right now going, which is just totally insane. Now they rely on me. So not only I'm still doing things for the first time.
Right.
Even at 24. But now I no longer have to just schedule my own doctors and dentists and whatever it may be appointments. I have to schedule theirs.
Yeah. And it like our parents, like you said, they had us children at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think about it. When they were like 30, we thought they were just infinitely wise.
Oh yeah, they were sages.
There's nothing they couldn't do.
They're freaking
They were
wizards.
30.
They would whip anything. Yeah, and they were only 5 years older than we are.
Right.
That to me was one of the biggest shifts. And don't even get me started on our personal health.
Right.
When you're young, you don't think about your future health at all.
And you really don't need to.
No, you don't, because your metabolism's the highest it's ever going to be.
Right.
You're made to withstand.
You're literally made to withstand blows.
Yeah.
Falls and being thrown across the room and everything.
Absolutely, because
You're rubbery.
yeah, I wouldn't say breakable, but you're bendable. You can you're malleable in some ways, and you're not that when you get to this age. Your body is never gonna be as good as it is right now. It's all deterioration. It's the same with a car.
Yeah. It's like up until, I don't know, 20 or so, it's all uphill.
Oh yeah.
And then
Oh,
you
yeah.
turn the hill.
Oh yeah, and it's going down. And obviously, prime of your life, I wouldn't say ends until probably early 30s.
No.
But
Like, as far as an athletic,
yeah.
mentally and athletically,
that's your peak.
yeah.
But really, depending on how good a care you take of yourself, you start to drop after 20.
Oh, absolutely.
You really do.
And you've got to start caring about diet and exercise.
You really do.
You can't wait till you're 50.
Because diet and exercise will help the other things that come with adulting, like anxiety and stress.
It helps literally everything.
It really does. It is
in some way, it helps everything.
Mm-hmm. And you do that organically when you're young. You have PE. You do sports.
Yeah.
You have those built-in ways.
You want to do it.
Yeah.
You just run around.
That's all you're doing.
Just for the sake of running around.
And name us a time that we really ever just sat.
No, it wasn't.
We may not have been doing any athletically inclined activities, but we were
Right.
always outside, filming movies, doing something,
Yeah, I
making
know.
videos, getting sweaty
We would
being
have to be
active.
watching a movie, I think.
for us to not be doing something.
Like a VHS. Because there
Mhm.
was, obviously there was no YouTube
No Netflix,
for a long time.
no streaming.
Really early on, we didn't even have cable television. So,
Only till we were about 50. Well, maybe when we were younger, but did YouTube become a thing? But we couldn't regularly upload like we were trying to do when we were a
Right.
little bit older.
right.
So it was pretty. Excuse me. It's pretty insane, that feeling of, wow, I've got to start looking out for myself,
Yeah.
because if you don't, it takes years off, and
Yeah.
that is something you don't ever think about when you think about adulting.
Right.
Is every decision you make leads to an outcome,
Yeah.
good or bad.
Yeah.
It may not be an immediate outcome. It could be way in the future, but it happens, man. It really does. And think about when you're in school and everything's done for you. The hardest thing about your day is rolling into first hour, and you have bell work. Like, I can't think. I don't want to answer this weird literary question or diagram a sentence based on its sentence parts. You don't want to do that. Now, I have to watch my belt line. That's the hardest thing. I got to wake up and think, man, I really want coffee. I really want a lot of cream and sugar, but should I?
Right.
I really want to eat 2 chicken sandwiches at work, but should I?
Right.
You start thinking about everything, and that's the little details, the minutia of the day.
Yeah.
Everything compiles into this big ol' painful
conglomeration of
decisions. So, I mean, that to me is the biggest difference between what I thought adulting would be like and what it's actually like.
Right.
Because I can tell you now what every color of poop means.
That's good.
And what symptoms could be causing that poop to be that color.
Yeah.
Because I needed to know.
Right.
I had to know. I never thought that would be knowledge that I would seek out.
Yeah. Yeah, learning does not stop when you graduate high school, folks.
No, it doesn't.
In fact, it never stops.
No, it never does. I had a class, may have been by force. I don't remember. But it was kind of like a motivational class to get you pumped up for college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. It was one of those like classes you take if you're a freshman or if you're not doing well when you're like a junior.
Right. It's I can't remember what it's called.
Strategies for Success or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the lecturers of that day came in, and his big thing was, you should live life ignorant.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with being ignorant.
No.
Because if you realize that you're ignorant,
yeah,
you can go out and seek knowledge.
Yeah.
To make yourself less ignorant.
That's
so if you realize your own limitations, that you don't know everything even when you think you do.
Yeah, and be willing to say it and accept it.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help with that.
Oh, absolutely. Be willing to realize that you don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think we do feel like we have all the answers.
We want to have all the answers.
Because it makes us feel comfortable.
Yeah.
We don't have to deal with the unknown.
Yeah.
Because
sometimes one of the greatest fear of all of man.
Absolutely. Fear of the unknown. And it's crippling.
It is.
And that's where we get anxiety and stress, because we're constantly worried about if the outcome is something we don't want it to be.
Yeah.
So you overthink.
Yeah.
And you overcomplicate it. So just live life knowing that you have those limitations, and there you go.
Yeah. Well put.
But I think what I'm getting to is life is all about balance. You can still have the things you thought it would be like, and what it actually is. You just got to balance. Yeah, I thought I would go out every weekend and party and be an adult, because I thought that as an adult you always party, when I figured out that's not really what it's about. But go out, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Any weekend that you want to.
Right.
But balance it out the rest of the week or month.
That's absolutely true.
Do the things you need to do. And with food, I mean, I don't even have to sit here. I'm not no health guru or nothing like that, but
it's like business before pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't just have the pleasure. You can't just have the dessert.
Nope.
You gotta have your vegetables first.
Yeah, nobody likes cauliflower.
Right.
I'm sorry if you're eating cauliflowered rice or any of the weird things that people make with cauliflower now, but it's not that good.
Chicken wings.
Oh, cauliflower buffalo wings and stuff. Just get that out of here, okay?
Yeah.
Get that out of here. Sorry, weird tangent, but when you say vegetables,
it was very valid tangent.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's yeah, you need to eat your vegetables in order to eat the cake if you want it.
Yes.
Or any of the other cliches. You can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Because life is all about balance. You balance your work and play. It's what you make it. You roll the dice, play your cards, whatever you want to use. Whatever cliches out there. But the reason that they get said so much are because they're true.
Yeah. As most of those sorts of cliches are.
Mm-hmm. They're overused and people call them cliches.
Yeah.
But they're there because they've always been there.
Right.
It's what every generation has lived by for generations.
Absolutely.
So then what do? Now that we've come to a realization that adulting is what it is, and we've kind of grown and learned, what do we do now? Nobody has the answer. Especially not me.
Well, just like when you were 15, you didn't have the answer.
I don't... And
you still don't.
No, you never have the answers. Until you do, and you could be 80.
Right. And even then, you still don't.
So, basically what I'm trying to do now is I don't have everything figured out. And I don't need to. I'm gonna find something that I love to do. Maybe it's podcasting, maybe it's not. Maybe it's some weird sales team, Salesforce.
Right.
I don't think what I'm doing now is my end.
You're not going to be doing it at 60 is what you're saying.
No, I'm not. Definitely not. And I think that is where I feel like I finally have a grasp on what adulting is I thought you would, at 13, I thought you would have it all figured out.
Yes.
But now that I'm 25, I don't.
Right.
And that's okay. Because, like I've said, nobody does.
And I think it just works out in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really do.
Yep. So I think we figured out that we've grown up. We're sitting here 15 years since we were 10.
Right. It is, yeah.
And you have your whole life ahead of you. We still have a whole lot of life ahead of us.
Yeah. This is your and my mind at 15 sitting here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My mom always said, I still feel 17.
Right.
I still feel like I do when I was that young.
Yeah.
I don't feel any different. In fact, you could argue that we're doing the exact same thing. We used to make YouTube videos when we
are
were 15.
actually doing the same thing.
We're making some kind of media.
Right.
Something that takes creativity and thought.
Yes.
And putting it out there. Whether anybody saw it or not. We didn't really care.
No.
Yeah, obviously we wanted people to see it.
Absolutely, but we didn't care.
No,
we had a lot of fun creating it.
Yeah. And, well, like I've mentioned, we're going to continue to do it. Continue to figure out what it is we like to do, what we like to say. And then find a balance.
Yeah, that's it.
Figure it out.
That's the deal.
That's all it is. So, what's our time at?
How much are you asking me how much time's elapsed?
Uh-huh. How much time
we're probably
is
due
elapsed?
for break.
We're due for break.
Looks like 35 minutes elapsed.
35 minutes?
35 minutes?
Well,
I thought it was 2.
It felt like it didn't go by. It felt like it went really slow. Like, I thought it's only been like 10. I was getting kind of scared.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to say now?
Well, just say what you've got to say, and then we'll end the show.
That's true.
That's
true.
There's no time restriction.
Yeah, for sure. And that's also another thing you learn is one thing that I figured out as I've been more of an adult than I thought I would be is you can't let certain things go unsaid.
Right.
If you do, you bottle up, and then it adds to your stress.
Yeah.
I have things that
or grudges, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody says forgiveness, that's the way. I truly do believe that is the way.
Right.
Because it eats you alive. And bosses, they
Haunts you.
suck. Bosses suck.
All right, I think that's pretty
I
common
feel like
belief.
you can have a good boss, but you always have, knowing that you have somebody with leverage over you in whatever way. There's always gonna be a negative connotation to that.
Yeah, it's in the word boss.
Boss, they're the boss.
It's like a boss in the video game. It's the boss you gotta go defeat.
Yeah. Which reminds me, I thought I'd be my own boss when I was 13.
Yeah, when I was 13, I assumed that I would be a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm. I was right there. I was right there. I have a sweet production company.
Yeah.
Live in one of the big meccas for media, New York,
Right.
L.A., somewhere there like that. I would even settle for being a B film movie producer. You know the movie Rubber?
Rubber.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
It's about a tire that attacks people. I would even produce a film like that. I would enjoy it.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Because what it boils down to is just do what you love. I'm not doing what I love.
You don't love this?
Oh, this podcast? Absolutely. This is doing what I love, but my day job
Yeah.
is not what I love. But that's it.
That's it. And that's it.
Landon, do you have anything else to say before we do rapid fire segment? Because today I feel like we got through what we needed to say. Adulting is hard. It's hard. It's much more difficult than what I thought it would be when I was 15 or 13. As a teenager. As a young whippersnapper.
Oh, and it's just getting started.
It's only getting started. We're 40 years away from retirement age.
Right.
40 years.
Seems like a lot.
It's going to go by fast. We're going to be sitting here.
It's 4 decades, which, again, seems like a lot. 2 score. But look at the previous decade, 09 to 2019.
Yeah, it felt like, really, it didn't feel like it went that fast. No, I'm sorry, total opposite. It felt like it flew by.
Well, yeah, it. When you look back, it does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you think about where you were at in 09, you were probably in 8th grade.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
That was a really long time
So
ago.
it was a long decade.
Yeah, it feels, when you think about each specific experience, yeah, it feels like it went by slower than it did. But
Right.
when you think about all that you did in that 10 years, it's like, wow, that flew by.
Right.
Look at all these experiences we had. Get your license. Graduate.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
College graduation.
Right. I mean,
New jobs.
Yeah, I spent 5 of those years in college. And
5 años
yeah,
en la universidad.
4 in high school.
Ooh, 9 years of school in that last decade?
Yeah.
Holy crap. When you put it that way, it's terrifying.
It is spooky, to say the least. And it should spook you. But really all I was saying is, yeah, 4 decades. It seems like a lot, but it's really not.
Mm-mm.
Just think about 1980. That's 4 decades ago.
That's sickening. Kind of sickens me thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that is our view of what we thought adulting would be like when we were teenagers. Now on to the rapid fire segment where I ask Landon 10 questions in a this or that type manner. He does not know the questions. I do not know his answers.
Yeah, this is a very true statement. And
yeah.
it's the scariest part of the show.
Yeah, some of them are random. Some of them are tied to things that I've said. But let's get right into it.
Okay.
Would you rather have the stomach flu or a sore throat?
Well, you see, I have to ponder it because it's not a simple answer at all. at all. But I'll go sore throat, I guess.
Would you rather vomit or have fever chills? I mean, like the kind of chills that make you stay in bed because you can't move.
Right. Like a real serious fever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go fever.
I would too. Fall or winter? Because they're coming up quick.
Fall.
Mac and cheese or mashed potatoes?
Mac and cheese or mashed potatoes.
As a side. Probably
As
to
a side
chicken.
dish. To a chicken?
Yeah. To some sort of chicken. Fried chicken, probably.
Yeah. Mashed potatoes.
Would you rather have a wasp bite or a scorpion sting? I guess wasp sting, too.
Well, they can bite, but if you're asking if I'd rather have a wasp sting or a scorpion, I'm going to go wasp, even though I've never been stung by a scorpion.
Ooh, lucky man. Chocolate pudding or vanilla pudding? I had one before the show.
Yeah, chocolate.
Oh, yeah. Beef ribs or pork ribs?
Pork.
Would you rather brush teeth after chewing mint gum or drinking orange juice? Because with mint gum, it gives you that weird chill factor.
Right.
Orange juice just makes it taste weird.
Right. Mint gum, I guess. Nobody likes the orange juice.
Where do you store your clothes most? Closet or dresser?
Closet. I think, yeah, closet.
Would you rather have broken legs or broken hands?
Ugh. Gosh. Legs?
Okay. I think I would tend to agree because you couldn't do anything.
Was that the last one you thought of?
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked about broken legs is
because before the show he needed to think of one more.
And my inspiration was that this table we're on has a lean, a broken leg, if you will. So that's why
Right, it's got a wobble to it.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of a wobble. Wobble-de-wop.
Both legs or both hands?
It's tough.
Yeah.
I think I would choose legs because with hands, at least you can grab stuff still and move around. If you both your hands, yeah, you can walk still, but you can't grab anything.
Yeah.
Going over a little bit of recap, stomach flu or sore throat, I would probably choose sore throat because at least you can function.
Right.
With stomach flu, you're incapacitated for up to a day.
And really the thing I was thinking about is, do I want to deal with a sore throat for a week?
Yeah, because when you have a sore throat, you have it for a week.
Or like 24 hours of a stomach flu.
Mm-hmm.
And I still chose the sore throat.
Yeah, I think I would too. Because that 24 hours convulsing over a toilet-shaped bowl.
It's terrible.
And you almost feel like you're gonna die. It makes you feel horrible.
It's easy to forget how violent it is.
It's a very violent process.
It really
It
is.
shakes your whole body to its core.
Yeah.
It stops your breathing.
Yes. It's horrible.
To the
It's a horrible experience.
your temples are completely engorged, going. Ooh.
Especially if you have really are sick and run out of material.
Oh, and you're just dry heaving.
Just nothing. There's nothing left.
Oh, yeah, I would totally choose sore throat.
But the sore throat thing, it's so easy. When you get the sore throat, you immediately realize, why wasn't I more thankful to have not a sore throat?
When you're healthy, you take it for granted. So every time you get sick, you're thinking, what would I be doing if I wasn't in this condition? Why did I not enjoy it?
Yeah.
And then when you finally get done with it, you're like, this is what life is.
Yeah, for a few hours.
Yep.
And then you're just back to your own ungrateful self.
Total ingrate. I agree. With vomit or fever chills, I would probably take fever chills too. It's the same thing. It's the same argument that we just gave.
It is.
At least if you're just sitting in bed with a can't move, and when you get up and your head's dizzy because of it.
Yeah.
That usually comes along with like a stomach flu.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to have these together.
Oh, yeah. If you have a stomach flu, you're definitely going to have the
But choosing
fever.
which part is worse, it's definitely vomiting.
Right.
over the fever chills. Fall or winter, we're close to summer being over. I would definitely choose fall.
Okay.
You get Halloween.
You do. Thanksgiving's in there.
Oh yeah, and you get it's not super cold.
Right.
It's cool. It's close to spring without being
And the nice,
springish,
yeah.
if that makes sense.
And the thing that is nice versus spring is there's a there's a crispness to the air.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as humid, obviously.
Yeah.
Every day, like, you're cooling down instead of heating up.
Yes, and yeah, with spring, you're heating up to the point where it's comfortable,
Right.
but it is heating up.
Yes.
It's getting more sunny.
Yeah.
It's getting more like blaring. It feels like, but
Yeah.
with fall, it feels as it's decreasing.
Yeah. And you get all those sentimental concepts like the fall foliage and pumpkin spice lattes, all of it.
PSL.
And
I
you're
don't-
also you're anxiously anticipating winter.
Mhm.
And for a little while, winter is
Wonderful.
great.
It's a wonderland.
Like, up until the end of the year, it's
Isn't
a
it?
very novel and exciting time.
But once you hit January, it's done. You're done with it.
But then January
You're
through
freezing.
March just drags out.
Miserable. Yeah.
Old man winter won't release.
Just let us out of your grasp. Go back in your hole. Groundhog Day. Anyways, mac and cheese or mashed potatoes. I think I differ a little bit,
Yeah.
and that's because Chick-fil-A recently rolled out mac and cheese. If you had the
I
pleasure
have
of
not
trying
had
it,
it.
you should. It's really good.
Is it?
Oh yeah, best fast food mac and cheese.
Okay. Better than Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, better than Colonel.
I
sure.
don't even know if I've had it.
But the mashed potatoes at KFC you cannot take down, and that's because I'm a big fan of brown gravy.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
I like it. I really do, but I would choose white over brown.
I bet you would. JK. But for real though, I think I would go white gravy over brown gravy.
Just depends on what you're eating it with.
Mm-hmm.
For me,
Very
it
true.
doesn't depend, but for most people, it does.
Very true, very true. Wasp bite or scorpion? You said you hadn't.
Have you been stung by a scorpion?
Twice. Inner leg.
Inner thigh?
Mm-hmm.
Or like calf?
No, thigh.
Ooh.
Painful.
They crawl up your short?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I did. I shook him and it came out.
Ugh. It hurt?
It was by far the most painful insect, bug, critter type bite, sting, what
Really?
have you.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. It's painful. You know, with a wasp, you generally get stung like 3 times by the same wasp.
Oh, yeah, oftentimes.
And with a bee, it's one and done.
Right.
They're a one shooter. Scorpion, I think, can sting you multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
But I've only been stung the once and got it off, which is good.
Right. I think the most
'Cause-
painful sting I ever experienced, believe it or not, was a bee.
Bee? Yeah, bees are painful because they're, like I said, they're one shooter. The thing that outweighs bees for me is with wasps.
Yeah.
It's multiple times.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with pain in like 3 different areas
Right.
on the same incident. But yeah, I would go wasp bite. I mean, I would go scorpion because I've felt it.
Okay.
Next, chocolate pudding or vanilla? You said chocolate. That's the easy answer.
Right.
Chocolate is way better. I had a pudding, so I wanted to throw that in there, see what is.
So you'd go chocolate, too?
Oh, yeah. Chocolate all day. In fact, we got just chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
No whites. Beef ribs or pork ribs? You know, I can't say that I've just had a ton of pork ribs.
Really? I can't. I was going to say, I don't know if I've had a ton of beef ribs.
Ton of beef ribs.
Right. I think I have before, but
Yeah, what I meant to say was I don't think I've eaten anything other than pork. I've had beef very few times.
right. I think, as far as I understand, eating a beef rib is going to be kind of like eating brisket,
Yeah, absolutely.
but with a rib bone there.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, pork is just a succulent delight, so I chose pork ribs.
I agree. That's for sure because with beef ribs, I know the way you prepare ribs are a little bit differently than if you were preparing brisket.
Right.
So I think that's where the difference of it comes into play. But I don't know that difference very well. I would also choose pork. Brushing teeth after mint or orange juice. Do you like that cool feeling that the...
No, I'm not going to say I like it, but orange juice, that's the terrible combination. It's the worst.
It's the worst. The taste in your mouth is disgusting. It's terrible. At least with, like, mint, you get mint toothpaste usually.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about what I should have asked is, would you rather have brush teeth with orange juice or drink cold water after chewing mint gum? Which feeling would be worse?
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Because now that I'm thinking about it, most toothpastes are like you're chewing mint gum.
Right. Absolutely.
It's an awful question.
That's
the worst
not
one yet. So then, yes, I would agree with you. Because brushing teeth after orange juice is terrible. Right. I do not like the feeling of cold water after chewing mint gum on my teeth.
No, that's not
terrible.
Super pleasant either.
I don't know what I'd choose there. Maybe that'll be on another one. Closet or dresser? I mean, he's in my room. I very rarely use the closet. So if you thought it was a weird question out there, folks.
You're a dresser user.
I'm total dresser. I've got maybe 10 garments
in the closet. Right.
And that's because they're the ones that I deem
worthy.
The most nice. Yeah, out of all of them.
Yeah, I'll do pretty much any pant and shirt. But, the dressers for everything else.
Yeah, true. Socks.
Right.
Undergarments. Random crappy t-shirts you just throw on.
Right. Play clothes.
Absolutely. And then last but certainly not least, we've already touched on it, but the broken legs or hands question. I think I'd go with legs.
Right.
I'd rather be mobile. I'd rather be immobile and have my hand use.
If you had to use a wheelchair, yeah, you have to use a wheelchair, but you have your...
Cook and grab things,
hold
go to
things.
Work. Yeah. So with that, Rapid Fire is over, and so is this podcast. Landon, do you have anything to add?
No.
Well, we'd like to know what you think, or what you thought adulting would be like. Is it much different? Are you doing anything that you thought you wouldn't be doing, or are you doing anything? How do I word this? What am I looking for? Are you doing anything that you didn't think you'd be doing?
Right.
That you wanted to? Right. I totally fudged that up. We can't edit it out because it's one take. It's one take, folks. Just let me know.
It is. That's a true statement. And we've actually got a pretty good run going with the whole one take thing.
Mm-hmm. We don't do much editing. It's just you're listening to us, folks.
Right. No cut. Like the last 8, there's been no cuts. Nothing was cut out, folks. Nope. But the first few, a bunch of stuff was cut out.
True.
A lot of that was just learning. Mm-hmm. Learning the equipment and things like that.
For sure. But, so yeah, let us know. Do you like adulting? Do you enjoy it? Is it what you thought it would be? What did you think it was going to be? And with that, I say thank you. See you next time.
Goodbye.